Exposed. Pregnant wife discovers her husband's secret affair after 9 months. Her unexpected response will shock you. Sarah sat nestled in her cozy living room, pregnant with excitement literally. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the faint smell of new paint from the nursery. Her husband, Jake, was supposed to be home any minute. Their lives, once dominated by casual hangouts and dreams of the future, now revolved around preparing for the arrival of their first child. Sarah couldn't help but smile at the pile of baby clothes waiting to be hung in the closet. This was it. Their American dream in full bloom. But then her phone buzzed, shattering her blissful moment. An anonymous text popped up. "I saw Jake with someone, not you." Her heart plummeted, her palms sweaty. Was this a prank? Glancing around the room, a space brimming with joy, everything felt dark and heavy all at once. The walls seemed to close in, their cheerful paint now a cruel reminder of the life she thought they were building together. Days passed, but the text haunted her. She studied Jake's every move, searching for hidden clues, battling waves of doubt and paranoia. How could he of all people betray her like this? The laughter of their neighbors echoed through the street, playing mockingly in her mind as she dug deeper into this pit of confusion. Each moment spent preparing for a baby felt tainted by betrayal, tearing at the fabric of her naive reality. Everything changed the night Sarah decided she couldn't hold back any longer. She confronted Jake, her breath shaky and her heart pounding. "Is there someone else?" His gaze fell, the air grew taut with tension as he struggled for words. Just like that, she felt her world slip further away. In that moment, her dreams, painted bright and bold, began to crumble. Then it spilled out. Jake, teary-eyed, confided in her an unforeseen truth unraveled. Financial issues, the burden of a business that had gone under, weighed heavily on him. It wasn't just an affair, it was desperation intertwined with self-doubt. Her heart thrummed painfully in her chest. The expectations of their perfect little life crumbled around them, echoing louder than ever. Her mind sparked with memories of their wedding day, promises made under sunlight and laughter, now shadowed by turmoil. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jake's tears fell, each one a testament to his shame and fear. Sarah felt rage wash over her, morphing into something she never expected: compassion. The deep-rooted love for the man she married fought against the betrayal that clawed at her heart. "Should I fight for us?" she murmured, her voice trembling. Here they stood, two people in a storm, grappling with love and expectations. Time stood still, ticking louder in the silence that filled the room. Sarah glanced out the window at the familiar faces passing by, her heart a chasm of uncertainty. Could she salvage their love, or was this the bitter end of a beautiful beginning? As she looked back at Jake, emotions raging inward, a singular thought lingered in the air. Can love endure when faced with the harshest truths, or was this the moment their hopeful future slipped away forever? Sarah barely slept that night, replaying every moment of their conversation over and over in her mind. She felt raw, like a wound exposed to fresh air. Jake's confessions echoed in her ears, the financial strain, the isolation he felt, and the misguided choice that seemed to have spiraled out of control. Did it really stem from desperation? Could it somehow be justified? She shivered at the thought. Morning light filtered through the curtains, mixing with the soft cries of birds outside, yet the warmth didn't touch her. She rubbed her belly gently, a tiny reminder of the life growing inside her. It stirred, a small kick that felt like a whisper, urging her to forge ahead, to fight. But what if it was a fight against a man she loved, and against a love that was so deeply wounded? Every passing moment made her question everything. How had they let it come to this? When had their laughter faded to silence? She felt like a ghost, haunting the home that had once been her sanctuary. She took a deep breath and steeled herself, knowing she had decisions to make, decisions that wouldn't just affect her, but the baby as well. Jake came home, the heaviness of the night still hanging over them. He gave her a tentative smile, but it felt fragile, like glass that could shatter at any moment. "Hey, I was thinking we could go out for breakfast," he suggested, but Sarah didn't respond right away. "That might be too normal," she finally replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know things feel messed up, but I want to make it right," he said, taking a step closer, his hands reaching for hers. She pulled back slightly, feeling the distance that had formed between them, both physical and emotional. "Make it right? How, Jake?" she challenged, her voice stronger now. "You can't just fix this with breakfast or sweet words. We're standing at a crossroads, and I don't know where to go from here." He opened his mouth to respond but paused, letting her words hang in the air like dense fog. The weight of his actions loomed over them. I need to show you I can change." Tears brimmed in her eyes. Hope flickered, barely alive with uncertainty. "Do you really think I can just forget the betrayal?" Jake dropped his head, shame washing over him. "No. I don't expect you to forget. I just need you to understand why it happened. I felt so lost, Sarah. I was scared. But losing our baby would tear me apart." In that moment, she saw a glimmer of the man she fell in love with, vulnerable, stripped of his bravado. As the silence stretched between them, Sarah considered the weight of their past against the uncertainty of their future. Could love be rebuilt from the ashes of this betrayal? "Let's try counseling," she suggested tentatively. "We need help from someone who can guide us." "I can't do this alone." Jake's eyes brightened with tentative hope. "I'd go, I really would. I want to do whatever it takes." As they stood there, a fragile connection forming amidst the chaos, Sarah realized she needed to confront her own fears too. She couldn't just blame Jake, they would need to rebuild together. But how to begin this journey back to trust? Later, she watched as Jake grabbed his phone, searching for local therapists. There was a flicker of determination in his eyes as he scrolled, and it gave her a hint of optimism. Maybe they could find a way through this darkness. But uncertainty loomed like a storm cloud overhead. She wondered what their first session would bring. Would it tear them apart further? Or could it be the first step toward healing? The doorbell rang, interrupting her thoughts, and Sarah exchanged a wary glance with Jake. Who could that be? The weight in her chest tightened again, leaving her to wonder if the past was truly ready to let them go or if more revelations awaited just outside their door. Sarah's heart raced as she approached the door, a gripping tension settling in her chest. She turned to Jake, searching his face for clues as to who could be there. He looked just as confused, uncertainty evident in the furrow of his brow. Taking a deep breath, she opened the door, revealing a woman with expressive eyes, carrying a large envelope. The woman looked relieved to see Sarah, but the chill in the air around her voice made it clear that this meeting wasn't casual. "Sarah? I'm sorry to barge in like this, but I really need to speak with you," she said, her tone both urgent and apologetic. "Who are you?" Sarah asked, her instincts kicking in, her defenses rising. "My name is Emily. I work with Jake. Can I come in?" The request felt heavy in the air, like a storm threatening to break. Against her better judgment, Sarah stepped aside, letting Emily enter. She gestured for her to sit down, glancing back at Jake, who remained standing in the doorway, looking concerned but quietly uncertain. "Is everything okay?" Jake asked, finally stepping in, glancing from Sarah to Emily. Emily looked at Jake, then quickly turned back to Sarah. "I wouldn't come here if it wasn't important. It's about the way things have been at work." The words hung like leaden weights over the room. Sarah shifted in her seat, wrapping her arms protectively around her belly as if warding off whatever storm this woman was about to unleash. "What about work? Just tell me." Emily hesitated, glancing between them. "I don't want you to think badly of Jake, but there are things he hasn't shared with you. Things that could impact your family. What are you talking about?" Sarah pressed, her heart pounding. With a reluctant sigh, Emily reached for the envelope she had brought. "I received this yesterday. It's about some recent transactions we noticed at work. Something Jake was involved in. I thought you should see it. Jake's face drained of color as he took a step closer. Emily, no, you don't have to do this. It's already done, Jake, she replied firmly, her eyes softening slightly. She has a right to know. With shaking hands, Sarah took the envelope and opened it. Inside were documents, financial records tied to Jake's name. Lines of numbers danced on the pages, but one thing stood out, substantial amounts being funneled away into an account that wasn't theirs. What is this? Sarah's voice shook with disbelief and rising anger. What are you doing, Jake? What is this? I can explain. Jake's voice broke, desperation leaking through. I swear I can explain. Please, just give me a chance. Sarah's breath quickened. The emotional storm, already raging within her, swirled more violently now. How could there be more? Just when she thought they were on the brink of healing, another layer of betrayal threatened to pull her under. Don't you see? Emily interjected gently. I thought you needed to know, especially with a baby on the way. He is hiding things from you, Sarah. At that moment, the tightness in Sarah's chest became unbearable. She held up the papers like they were a shield, every line feeling like a dagger to her heart. How could you do this, Jake? The words were hardly a whisper, yet they echoed through the room. Jake took a step forward, his expression pleading. Please, just let me talk. It's not what it looks like. But as Sarah stood there, feeling the weight of betrayal pressing heavily against her heart, she felt adrift in a sea of confusion and anger. She had thought they'd turned a corner, but it seemed that the past was ready to drown them both. As she stared at the documents, inner turmoil twisted inside her. How much longer could she hold on? How much longer could she fight for a love that seemed so broken? Before she could marinate in her thoughts, Sarah heard her phone ping. It was a reminder for their first counseling session. It felt like a cruel joke now. Was there any hope left to grasp at? With Emily's eyes watching intently and Jake's remorseful expression hovering in the background, Sarah stood at crossroads she never anticipated. The healing they needed felt miles away, and instead, she felt an impending sense that the storm was only just beginning. What secrets would this meeting unravel next? Would truth bring with it reconciliation or devastation? Sarah felt like the ground beneath her was shifting, ready to swallow her whole. The envelope still trembled in her hand as she stared at the swirling numbers, trying to make sense of them of him. Jake's presence loomed behind her, a ghost of the husband she thought she knew. His silence was deafening, amplifying her thoughts, each one a plunging knife into her heart. Sarah, please, Jake's voice broke the stillness. I never meant to hurt you. I've made mistakes, terrible ones, but I can explain everything. Emily shifted in her chair, keeping her eyes on Sarah, as if silently urging her to listen. But each word from Jake felt like a betrayal sharper than any blade. You should have thought about that before, she said, her voice thick with hurt. This is more than just mistakes, Jake. Why didn't you tell me? How could you keep this from me? I was trying to protect you. Protect us. Things at work got out of hand, and I thought I could fix it without dragging you into it. He stepped closer, desperation painted on his face. You're pregnant, Sarah. I didn't want to add to your stress. I thought I could handle it all without letting you know, without worrying you. Handle it? Sarah spat, each word laced with venom. This isn't handling things, it's hiding them. And what about us? What were you thinking when you decided to funnel money into some secret account? What was this even for? Jake ran his hands through his hair, frustration simmering beneath his sorrow. It's complicated. I wasn't thinking straight. I thought if I could just keep up appearances, maybe everything would work out. Appearances? Sarah felt a wave of disbelief wash over her. What about reality, Jake? You can't just pretend everything is fine. You can't pretend with me, not now. I know, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. But I promise, I wasn't cheating. It's all about this project that got out of hand. I needed the money to save our future. I thought it would bring us security. Security? The word tasted bitter on her tongue. This isn't security, this is deceit, and it's crushing me. Emily looked away as if she were intruding on something too personal, yet Sarah interpreted it as the weight of the truth, the pure, raw reality of what Jake had done. It wasn't just financial losses, it was trust leaking from their lives like sand through their fingers. Please, Sarah, Jake pleaded, stepping forward again. You have to believe me. If I could turn back time? Her heart twisted painfully in her chest. You can't just wish away all of this. You've hurt me too deeply. I don't even know if I can look at you right now without seeing all this betrayal. What is it going to take for you to let me explain? Jake stepped back, anguish showing in the crease of his brow. I'll do anything to fix this. A silence fell in the room, heavy and oppressive. Sarah's heart raced as she tried to process everything. A baby was coming, a new life to think about. There was so much at stake, and yet she felt utterly unmoored. Maybe it's time I think about what I want instead of constantly putting us first. As the words left her mouth, a new glimmer of possibility flickered within Sarah. Maybe she could begin to take control of her own life, one choice at a time. But even as hope threatened to rise, an unsettling doubt gnawed at her. What if Jake's mistakes were too great to mend? Emily's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. Perhaps it's best to take some time apart to think clearly. Emotions are raw right now. Sarah nodded, a churning mix of sorrow and defiance inside her. Part of her wanted to run away, to escape from this reality, but another part remained firm. Maybe you're right. I need a moment to breathe without your shadow looming over me. Jake's eyes widened, panic flashing across his features. No, don't turning away from them. Sarah felt her heart beat loud in her ears. The door to their future felt like it was slamming shut, yet it opened a crack for her to see what lay beyond the hurt. She could hear Jake's voice, plea mingling with frustration, but it faded into the background, drowned out by her own racing thoughts. With every step away from the confusion of the living room, a new resolve began to grow within her. Sarah needed clarity. She needed to face this storm alone, even if it felt insurmountable. As she stepped into the hallway, the buzzing of her phone broke the silence, vibrating insistently against her skin. It was another reminder, but this one was different. It was from her sister, a simple message. Hope you're okay. Call me when you can. Sarah paused, her finger hovering over the screen. Maybe seeking support from someone who really knew her could be the first step toward finding her own truth. But then again, what if wading into those waters only dredged up more hurt? As her heart thudded in her chest, Sarah felt the weight of decisions pressing down. What would she do next? Would she reach out for help, or would she stand firm alone against the storm? The path ahead was murky, and she knew that whatever choice she made could forever alter their lives. But one thing was clear, she had to choose wisely. The hallway felt endless, each step echoing her turmoil. Sarah glanced at her phone again, her sister's message flickering on the screen like a lighthouse in a storm. She hesitated, wrestling with the desire to reach out and the fear of dragging someone else into her chaos. But isolation could be dangerous too, like a dark alley with no way out. Swallowing hard, Sarah pressed the call button, her heartbeat drumming in her ears. The tone rang, each beat mirroring her anxiety, until Emily's familiar voice broke through. Hey, Sarah. I was just thinking about you. Are you okay? The moment of hearing her sister brought an unexpected rush of warmth, but it quickly faded as reality crashed down again. I don't know, she confessed, tears pooling in her eyes. Everything feels blurred. Jake has done something terrible, and I don't even know where to begin. Take a breath, Emily said softly, sensing the weight of Sarah's emotions. I'm here for you. What happened? With each word, Sarah felt the tension start to unravel. She recounted the unfurling truth, the secret account, the lies, the way Jake had tried to shield her from a truth that was bigger than both of them. As she spoke, her voice thickened with hurt and vulnerability. I can't shake this feeling that he set fire to everything we built together. He was trying to protect you, Emily interjected gently. But it sounds like he was more afraid of the truth than actually facing it. Protect me? Sarah's voice rose, tinged with indignation. He shoved me aside while making decisions in the dark. Protecting me felt more like keeping me in a cage. Maybe he thought he was doing the right thing, but it clearly blew up in his face, Emily replied, her tone calm but firm. You deserve to be heard and understood. You deserve someone who doesn't hide the truth from you. Her sister's words struck a chord. Sarah realized that, despite the heartache, she was beginning to find her voice in this storm of betrayal. She couldn't live in that cage anymore. I need to think about what I want, Sarah admitted, her voice steadier now. Not just what Jake wants. Absolutely, Emily encouraged. Maybe you could talk to him openly when you're ready, but for now, take the time you need. Let's meet up. You can stay with me, or I can come over. Sarah paused, considering the offer. The idea of seeing her sister face to face felt like a small coast of comfort amid tumultuous waves. I think I'd like that, she replied quietly, the idea filling her with a flicker of hope. With Emily close by, maybe the burden of everything would feel a little lighter. Let us make it happen, Emily said. I can be there in an hour. We'll figure this out together. After ending the call, Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the churning turmoil inside her start to settle, if only a bit. She was still raw, and the storm wasn't over, but she was not as alone as she had felt just moments before. As she put her phone down, a sense of urgency began to creep back in. How would the confrontation go? She could almost envision Jake's pleading expression, the way he'd promised to do better. But could she trust these promises after the devastation? With a deep, shaky breath, she leaned against the wall, contemplating what she could even say to him. Would she confront him with everything she felt? Or would she let him talk first, hoping that he might reveal layers of his secret she still hadn't uncovered? The weight of that uncertainty loomed over her, heavy and unresolved. One thing was certain: whatever happened next could redefine their entire lives. More importantly, it could redefine her. As she stared into the silence of the hallway, a new question began to form. What if there were more layers to Jake's truth? What if the project he mentioned was just the tip of the iceberg? This thought stirred a new anxiety in her, a gnawing sense that the worst was yet to come. What if discovering the truth was going to be far more painful than she could imagine? The minutes felt like hours as Sarah paced the small living room, her mind racing with the looming confrontation. Every creak of the floorboards seemed to amplify her nervousness. What would she say? How could she put into words the betrayal that cut deeper than anything she'd ever felt? Suddenly, the doorbell rang, jolting her from her thoughts. Sarah's heart raced. She opened the door to find Emily standing there, her expression both comforting and concerned. "Hey," she said softly, pulling Sarah into a hug. The warmth enveloped her, momentarily easing the cold grip of dread. "Thanks for coming," Sarah said, managing a small smile as they stepped inside. She felt a weight lift off her shoulders, the presence of her sister a soft cushion against her turmoil. "Of course. Let us get some coffee, and then you can tell me everything," Emily suggested, her voice steady and assuring. The familiarity of this ritual brought back memories of countless late-night heart-to-hearts, where Sarah felt seen and supported, no matter the chaos in her life. They settled into the small kitchen, sunlight pouring through the window, illuminating the cluttered countertops. Emily poured 2 steaming mugs of coffee, the rich aroma wrapping around them like a soothing balm. "So, tell me, what's on your mind?" she prompted gently, settling into her chair, eyes fixed on Sarah with unwavering attention. Taking a deep breath, Sarah launched into the story once more. "I just can't believe Jake could do this. It's like I don't even know him anymore," she admitted, her voice trembling. "Everything I thought we had feels like it's crumbling, and I don't know how to rebuild it if the foundation is rotten." Emily listened intently, nodding as Sarah spoke. "He was so focused on hiding things from me that he forgot I should be part of the solution. How can I trust him again if he lied to protect me?" Each word dripped with hurt, shadows of her fears spilling out into the light. "Trust is built on honesty, not secrets," Emily remarked. "I think you need to focus on what you want, not what Jake wants. This is about your life, Sarah." Just then, Sarah's phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from Jake. "Can we talk? I know you're upset." "I'm sorry, please." The words seemed to jump off the screen, filling her with a mix of anger and sadness. Part of her wanted to scream, while another part yearned for resolution. Emily watched her carefully. "What are you feeling?" Sarah sighed, glancing at her phone, conflicted. "I'm so torn, Em. I want to yell at him, to make him realize how much he hurt me. But then there's this small part that wants to believe he can change. That we can fix this. Change is possible, but it has to come from both sides," Emily replied, her voice soft but firm. "If you're going to give him a chance, you need to be clear about your boundaries. Don't lose yourself in the process." The truth of Emily's words sank in, and for the first time, Sarah felt a flicker of empowerment. "You're right. I need to set boundaries. I deserve to reclaim my voice." As they sat in silence for a moment, sipping their coffee, Sarah reflected on how she was stepping back into her power. It was a fragile moment, filled with both hope and fear. But before she could spiral too deep into anxiety again, she felt the pulse of determination rising within her. "Maybe I'll write down what I want to say before I talk to him," she suggested, an idea forming like a lifeline. "I need to express everything clearly." "That's a great idea. Put down your feelings, make your needs known," Emily said, her face lighting up. "And remember, whatever you decide, I'm here for you." With a newfound sense of purpose, Sarah felt a wave of clarity wash over her. She understood now that facing Jake wouldn't just be about confronting him, it would also be about confronting herself and what she truly wanted from this fractured relationship. Just as she was about to share her thoughts with Emily, her phone buzzed again, pulling her focus. The name on the screen made her heart stop. Jake was calling. A lump formed in her throat. Would she answer? The question hung heavy in the air. Could this be the pivotal moment she needed to reclaim her life? Or would it lead her deeper into the storm? As Sarah stared at her phone, Jake's name flickering back at her, she felt her pulse quicken. The familiar warmth and comfort of her sister's presence suddenly felt distant, fading beneath the weight of anxiety hanging over her like a dark cloud. "Are you going to pick it up?" Emily asked, her tone both cautious and encouraging. I don't know." Sarah's voice nearly cracked as she wrestled with her thoughts. Her heart was a war zone of emotions: fear, anger, longing, and she was unsure which side to take. The moment stretched on, tension hanging thickly in the air. With a shaky breath, she pressed the green button and put the phone to her ear. "Hello? Sarah? I'm glad you answered." Jake's voice came through, smooth yet tinged with something she couldn't quite decipher. Was that desperation? "I need to talk." Her throat tightened. "Talk? You mean, after everything, you think I'm just going to sit here and listen to you?" "Please, just give me a chance to explain myself," he pleaded, each word dripping with sincerity. "I know I messed up. I never wanted to hurt you." Something inside her crumbled at his words, a mix of anger and the tiniest glimmer of hope. "You really think that's enough? You tore apart our trust, Jake." "I know. I'm so sorry. What I did was wrong. But I swear, I can make this right. Just meet me. I need to tell you everything face to face." Just then, Emily placed a gentle hand on Sarah's shoulder, a grounding touch. "You don't have to do this if you don't want to," she whispered, her eyes filled with concern. I'll think about it," Sarah finally said, her voice unsteady. She felt torn, the urge to slam the door on Jake battling with the part of her that still wanted him to be the man she fell in love with. "Can you at least tell me when?" "I need you to understand my side," Jake pressed, the urgency in his voice rising. "Fine. Tonight at 6. The park near our old spot," she replied, almost mechanically. A twisted sense of dread wrapped around her, squeezing tight. "Thank you. I promise I won't waste this chance," he said, relief palpable in his tone. As she hung up, a mixture of emotions swirled within her. "What did I just agree to?" Sarah muttered, doubts creeping back in. "You don't have to go if you're not ready," Emily reminded her, her gaze steady. "Just remember, whatever happens, you're in control." "I thought I was. But what if he manages to charm his way back in?" Sarah whispered, fear lacing her words. "What if I hear what I want to hear and let my heart slip back into the comfort of his lies?" Emily shook her head, her expression fierce. "You're stronger than that. Remember why you're doing this. It's about claiming your voice, your needs. Don't lose sight of that. The clock on the wall ticked ominously. Would tonight be a moment of revelation or another step deeper into a web of confusion? Every passing minute ratcheted up the tension, pulling her in different directions. As the sun began its downward arc, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Sarah felt a striking clarity, like a pinprick of light shining through the storm clouds of her mind. Maybe this was her chance. Emily stood up, hugging her again, grounding her. Whatever happens, you've got this. Face it knowing you deserve honesty. Sarah nodded, but found herself staring out the window into the deepening twilight, her heart racing with anticipation and fear. Would she find the answers she longed for? Or could this be the moment that determines if she's ready to walk away for good? The night loomed ahead, filled with possibility and dread. The park was alive with the sound of laughter, children darting about like little fireflies in the dusk. Sarah stepped cautiously along the gravel path, each crunch beneath her feet echoing her spiraling thoughts. The smell of freshly cut grass mixed with the sweet scent of blooming flowers summer teasing her senses as she tried to shift her focus away from the tempest brewing in her heart. Why had she agreed to meet him? Each step felt heavier than the last, as if she was dragging her past behind her. Emily had encouraged her, but now the shadows of doubt loomed larger. What if he didn't truly mean it this time? What if the promises of change were just more words, a charismatic facade that could crumble again at the slightest pressure? Panic fluttered in her chest as she recalled the ache of betrayal, the ways Jake's actions had severed the spark they once shared. But was that spark still there, dim and flickering beneath the layers of hurt? The thought both terrified and intrigued her. As she reached their old spot, a cozy bench shrouded by an overhanging willow, her eyes caught sight of Jake. He was leaning against the tree, hands shoved deep into his pockets, his expression a cocktail of anxiety and hope. The sight of him brought a flood of memories crashing back, each one like a wave that threatened to pull her under. "Sarah," he began, his voice wrapping around her like a familiar embrace, though no warmth could chase away the chill in the air between them. She held up a hand, cutting him off. I need to know why." "Why no?" The intensity of her own voice surprised her, but the anger felt good. "Because I can't sleep. I can't think. I miss you. I miss us," he admitted, his gaze earnest. There was sincerity swirling in his eyes, but she remembered too well how easily those eyes could mask deceit. "Do you even know what you're asking for? You shattered my trust, Jake. You turned my world upside down." Her heart ached as the truth tumbled out, words she had rehearsed all day but carried the weight of raw emotion. "I know," he said softly, stepping closer. "But please, let me explain. I've done a lot of thinking." "Thinking, or just regretting?" She shot back, her heart racing at his proximity. The scent of his cologne, once comforting, now sent her spiraling. "Do you even understand the impact of what you did?" His face twisted in pain, and she felt a flicker of her old affection dance within her despite the tempest that raged. "I never wanted to hurt you. I was stupid. I got lost in superficial things. But I want to find my way back to you if you'll let me." The universe felt cruel and chaotic, and she fought to make sense of it all. "Jake, how do I know you want to do it again? How do I know I want to wake up one day and find you vanished again? I promise to show you. Please, just give me a real chance to prove that I can be better." His throat was taut, as if he was trying to swallow down every word, every regret. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Engaging in this dance of hope felt both dangerous and exhilarating, like standing at the edge of a cliff. Did she even want him back? The question hung heavy in the air, an uninvited guest at their very personal reunion. The last light of day faded, shadows creeping in to envelop them both. Fear settled in her chest like a stone, pushing her to make a choice that could shape her future. "Maybe what you want doesn't matter anymore, Jake," she whispered, uncertainty threading through her resolve. His eyes widened, the atmosphere thick with emotions neither dared to name. Would this moment redefine their story, or mark the end of an already frayed chapter? With the darkness settling deeper around them, Sarah knew she was standing at a crossroads. The answer lay just within her reach, waiting to reveal itself, but at what cost? Sarah was struck by a whirlwind of emotion as she gazed into Jake's eyes. The weight of their shared memories hung heavy, and every heartbeat echoed the doubts she couldn't silence. She felt raw and exposed, vulnerable before the man who had hurt her so deeply. "What if I say no?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The question felt monumental, as if she was daring the universe to respond, to give her a sign. Jake took a breath, his features flickering with anxiety. "Then I guess I'll have to respect that. But it wouldn't change how I feel." Her heart twisted. It would be easy to push him away, to retreat into the shadows where she felt safe, but was that really what she wanted? The moments they had shared, the laughter and dreams, swept through her mind like a summer storm. She longed for the comfort of that life, but fear held her tightly in its grasp. "Together or apart," she murmured, "it feels like I'm not sure who I am anymore." "Please, Sarah, just give me a moment," Jake pleaded, his eyes searching hers. "I'm asking for a chance, not just for you, but for us. I've been working on myself truly." "Working?" she scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. "How do I know it's real this time? The last time you said you were working on things, it ended with you walking away. You just left." The words hung in the air, a testimony of their past that threatened to suffocate whatever vulnerability had begun to blossom. "I know, and it was wrong," he replied, pain etching his voice. "But I've spent sleepless nights reflecting on my mistakes. Therapy, introspection, it's all changed me. I've changed." Sarah studied him, looking for signs of deception like a detective on a case. She wanted to believe his transformation, but trust was fragile, a glass sculpture that could shatter with the slightest tremor. I don't want to get hurt again," she confessed. Her heart ached with the raw truth of her words. It's easier to stay angry than to feel what's buried beneath. The fireflies danced around them, the world's noises fading away into a realm of their emotion-drenched conversation. Jake stepped closer, now just inches apart. "You deserve better than anger, Sarah. You deserve love. I want to be that for you. Just let me show you." His earnest plea ignited a flicker of hope within her, but it warred against the ever-present fear. She needed a sign, something concrete to anchor herself upon. "What if I take the plunge and it's all just lies? What then?" Jake shook his head. "That's the risk, but life is full of risks. I can't change the past, but I can change our future. Please, don't let our fear decide for us." Silence enveloped them like a heavy quilt. Sarah searched his gaze for a trace of dishonesty. Instead, she found a depth of longing, an aching sincerity that made her spirit stir. "Maybe," she began, hesitating as the flickering flame of possibility ignited. "Maybe I can give us a chance to find out." With his breath catching in his throat, Jake's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "I don't know yet," she admitted, her heart racing. She was stepping onto a bridge built on uncertainties and untested emotional scaffolding. "But I'm willing to try to explore this path." As they stood in the gathering darkness, a sense of something new began to take shape. Fear and hope intertwined, teasing her senses, pulling her into a fragile yet promising future. But what awaited them on that journey? What hidden truths or buried secrets might still resurface? With the weight of their past pressing down, Sarah felt the turning point near. Hope surged, leaving more questions than answers lingering in the air. Would they be strong enough to navigate the stormy seas of their tumultuous history, or would they find themselves adrift once more? As the words hovered between them, an unyielding stillness enveloped the park. Sarah felt the pulse of her love for Jake, but it was entangled with fear and heartbreak. Could they find a way to heal, or would the scars of the past prove too deep? Trying, it's a start. Jake stepped closer, genuine relief flooding his features. "We'll take it day by day, I promise. I want to show you every reason to believe in me again." But disbelief flickered in her heart. "How do I know you won't fall back into old patterns? You've hurt me, Jake, deeply." Each word carried the weight of sleepless nights and aching loneliness. "I know, and I can't take back what I did," he replied, his voice filled with earnestness. "But for the first time, I truly understand the stakes. Losing you, losing this, your love, our family has opened my eyes. I want to do better for us, for our baby." The mention of their child sent a wave of warmth coursing through her, but the shadows of doubt still loomed. But how? She searched his eyes for answers. What does that even look like? I've started therapy. I'm committed to getting my finances sorted and finding a stable job, he explained, his voice brimming with determination. I want to create a secure environment for you and our baby, one without secrets. Emotion surged within Sarah as she envisioned a life free from the yoke of deception. But the hurt doesn't just disappear. I can't pretend everything is fine. His gaze softened. I don't expect you to. Healing is messy and slow. I want to create space for your feelings, every single one of them. We can do this together. For what felt like the first time, hope pierced through her uncertainty, but vulnerability was a steep hill to climb. I want to believe you, but my heart still screams be careful. Jake reached for her hand, gentle but sure. Then let me be patient. I'm willing to earn your trust back, step by step. Just give me the chance to prove it. Her heart felt as if it were in a storm, the winds whipping memories of comfort and betrayal. It won't change overnight. With utmost sincerity, he shook his head. I don't want it to. I want to show you I can be the partner you deserve, no more shields or excuses. Sarah nodded, letting those words wrap around her like a warm blanket, though anxiety gnawed at her. Can we be honest? Always, he assured her, squeezing her fingers gently. Taking a deep breath, she let her fears guide her words. It's going to take time. I need to set boundaries and we need to talk about everything, the good and bad. I need you to understand that I won't settle for less. Not anymore. A bright spark ignited in his eyes, admiration mixed with understanding. I'm here for it. Whatever it takes. If it means facing uncomfortable truths, I'm ready. With the sun dipping below the horizon, giving way to soft twilight, Sarah sensed a shift within her. Hesitant steps were still steps forward. Maybe, just maybe they could stitch together the loss and ruin into something beautiful. Hours later, as they sat on the bench, the wind carried the scent of blooming flowers through the air, and she felt the threads of a new dream beginning to weave. Perhaps they could figure this out. Perhaps love needed just that gentle nudge to push through the darkness. Promise me one thing? Sarah asked, her voice steady yet tender. Anything, Jake replied, leaning closer. If doubts creep back in, if the shadows of your past rise to the surface, you'll tell me. No more secrets. We face it together, okay? A radiant smile broke across his face, filling the space around them with light. Promise. I want to be your partner, not your burden anymore. And in that moment, standing at the intersection of hope and healing, Sarah felt a flicker of the woman she used to be, the woman she still was deep down. While the road ahead was uncertain and fraught with challenges, she knew they had crossed a threshold together. Their journey was just beginning. As they walked away hand in hand, the sun dipped beneath the horizon, signifying a close to the chaos they had endured. A fresh dawn awaited them, the promise of possibilities blooming just on the other side of the horizon, like a sunflower reaching for the sun. This was their moment, one step at a time. And it was enough. Now, my friends, we've reached an inspiring conclusion to this roller coaster of emotions. If you found yourself captivated by this journey and want to see more powerful stories like this, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your engagement fuels our creative spirit, so leave a like now to feed the algorithm. And let us know your thoughts about the ending in the comments. Your reactions and feelings are what matter most.